your introduction, ma'am. Okay. Good. Good evening, all of you. So, welcome to the second lecture of the research seminar series. So, today we have a speaker, Dr. Menka Yadav. Ma'am is currently working as an assistant professor at Electronics Communication Department, MNIT. CLU from NCE from University of Rajasthan. MEM is mainly working in a device characterization, MEMS and sensor network, digital and analog CMOS circuit, machine learning approach, MEMS and nano electronic device, modeling and simulation. MEM has more than 10 plus publication in a reputed journal and conference. So, MEM is currently supervising 3 PhD scholars. She is also currently working on 2 research projects. Now I welcome you, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks. So, I hope it is visible to one and all.
Yes, ma'am. Your means PPTs are visible, but make it full screen, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I am doing it. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Okay, thank you. So, good evening. Today's topic is non-classical towards tunnel path. So, there are CMOS switches you might have heard. I have targeted the audience which are from any branch, because as it was told by Dr. Amit Mahesh Joshi that the audience are from different branches. So I targeted my PPT in that manner so that it can be useful for one and all. Okay. So outline of the presentation is like this. Why we should know about most of all, because everybody should understand why you are attending this particular session. Then what are the available solid state electronic switches and other solid state devices which are compatible or can be used in place of MOSFET or are in current use? Then how does MOSFET works? Then technology scaling trends. MOSFET fails for further scaling. Other options for MOSFET replacement. This is in current scenario. Then in the last, I will be covering why tunnel FET we should use and how it will be working. And then I will give an example of a biosensor. So it will be a quick review for new people, even for UG students, PG students, and even for and faculty members also. So I kept all these things into mind and I prepared the PPT in that manner. So here, why an engineer must know about MOSFET. So in order to know about, we have to look for the particular applications, that what are different kinds of applications. For example, we are mostly aware of digital logic applications. This includes the widest application portion of the and applications are in the systems of computers, digital watches, laptops, calculators, cell phones, and many more. These are countless. Then, sorry, I need to go previous. Then MOSFET is a switch. Switch means it is on or off. So you can see a kind of logic on. For example, you are making your light on or off. So either it is on or it is off. So MOSFET like a switch. Then MOSFET like an amplifier. So MOSFET like an amplifier, and MOSFET like a resistor. Resistor means memory resistor. Okay. And then MOSFET can work like a capacitor as well. MOSFET can work like a sensor as well. And sensor means it can be in different industries. For example, you may use a sensor for medical purpose, for furnaces which might be used in atomic industry, or might be for chemical reactions in chemical chambers to find out how much particular temperature is, how much humidity is, how much presence of CO2 is. To measure all these things, we need this in furnaces, industries, in automobiles. For example, if you are feeling a jerk, sudden jerk, then how it should behave. So that sensor we are already using in our cars and all, and in camera, etc., etc. So sensing applications are actually very wide range applications, maybe temperature sensor, humidity sensor, biosensor, chemical sensors, etc. So what are available switches? So available switches are, first of all, diode. This is the very simple switch, somewhat like this. You are having this type of symbol. Every one of you have aware of it. So this is your P terminal and this is your N terminal. Okay, so these two terminals, P and N terminals, are there, and then it will be working just like a switch. Then BJT, bipolar junction transistor, and junction FET, and then it is the MOSFET. MOSFET stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. And then there are non-conventional MOSFET devices. So how MOSFET works? So how MOSFET?
Ma'am, Menka madam, sorry to disturb, but I think we are at your title slide only. We are at your title slide only. Your title slide is only visible to us.
Is it? Oh,
Yes.
let me.
Probably.
Okay, shall I speak slide numbers? Shall I speak slide numbers so that you can keep on?
Ma'am, probably, ma'am, you can share your slide. Open third option. Open share tray.
Fine. I have already opened over there. So everybody, I think, can open in their own window probably.
Ma'am, now it is visible. Now it is visible. The only thing is slight delays is there. So probably just take care of that. Okay. Now we are at that particular slide. How does MOSFET work? Okay, no issue, ma'am.
No,
Please go ahead.
I didn't do anything actually. I didn't do anything. So I don't know how it has. So shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what I will do in order to make you people in sync, I will tell you the slide number.
Ma'am, then in that case, I have to send a slide to them. Probably, ma'am, you can continue. I will send them. Okay, no issue.
Okay, fine, sir. So we are on slide number 5. How does MOSFET work? So how does MOSFET work? MOSFET is a simple NIN device. Sir, is it the marker visible? I mean, mouse visible? Mouse is visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
These lines are visible, correct?
Yes, we are at now slide number 5.
I am drawing some red lines. Are these visible? Okay, fine. So how does MOSFET works? MOSFET stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, and this is a voltage controlled device, while BJT is a current controlled device. The meaning is you have to control the MOSFET characteristics with the help of gate voltage. This is the gate terminal. There are 4 terminals: source terminal, gate terminal, drain terminal, and body terminal. You have N plus region for the source and drain regions, which are heavily doped, and the channel is almost intrinsic or very lightly doped. So whenever I call technology node, so that means this channel length, which is L. Sir, I'm getting some disturbances. Probably the mic is on from other side. Somebody else is using the mic. Yeah, now it is fine, sir. So technology node means this L is your technology node, and then these are the source and drain regions. So all your current conduction happens through the channel. The source will give you the electrons, and these are drained to the towards the drain side. And the current is flowing, and the gate is going to control that how much electrons will flow from source to the drain. This is the simple funda for the MOSFET. Now I would like to show you how it works in the simulation so that you can easily understand it. So, sir, is it visible? I'm showing one simulation at this Microsoft Edge. Is it visible to everyone?
No, ma'am, not visible.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am just sharing the link in the chat box so that everyone can open at their own terminal and it will be visible how it is going to work. So I have shared, so please open this and I hope you can open the link. So I am speaking from here how it is going to work. The link I have shared. So here the gate voltage is there, 2.8 volt. This is in your device it can be 3.5. So drain terminal is at plus 5 volt, and at the bottom voltage and the current waveforms are running. So you just try to drag the voltage from lowest to the highest, and you will see the changes in the current. So you can just drag it on your screen. I have given you the link. Just try to drag the gate voltage or the drain voltage, and you will see that there is a change in the waveform. Okay. So I hope everybody is able to do. If you have any kind of query in this regard, I will take those queries later on. So you may play with this, and it is a quick review that how it is going to work. So now come to the next slide, slide number 6. These are the MOSFET symbols. I am on slide number 6. These are the MOSFET symbols. The first one, these are the circuit symbols. You can see this is a 4-terminal device, drain, source, gate, and this is the body contact or the substrate contact, you can say. But actually, mainly in our logic circuits, the body is tied with the source so that the body effect will not come in the switching of the MOSFET. So then this becomes 3-terminal device. So the other two symbols, which are the simplified ones, are used, and this arrow which is in the source region, it denotes the direction of the current. This is the arrow. It is going to represent the direction of the current. It means this is not pointing. Not pointing means this is N-channel MOSFET, means this source was N-type, drain was also N-type, and region was P-type. And this is the simplex symbol which is generally used for the MOSFET 3-terminal device, gate, source, and drain. And likewise, the counterpart PMOS.
Menka ma'am,
Yes, sir.
sorry to disturb,
Yes.
but I think it is on. We are at 5th slide only.
Sir, please share the slides so that I can start from here and everybody can, I will tell what is the slide number and everybody will have their own control on the slides.
1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute.
Okay, sir, I'm waiting. You may share the slides so that everybody can take from their own system.
I have already shared a slide to all of them, but anyhow, probably I will manage at my end. But probably, madam, you are using your LAN.
No, I'm using my mobile's internet, not LAN.
Okay. Okay. So actually, I am also doing that now. But now onwards, ma'am, whatever you are pointing, it will not be visible because I am the presenter now. Will it work? Or you want to be a presenter?
No, I want to be a presenter so that it can be visible them well, because wherever I am going to point it out.
So, ma'am, probably then I am not sure. What you can do that, ma'am, means I am again making you as a presenter. So kindly now, ma'am, means you can share your slide now, and if possible, turn off your video. I think you have already done that, but if it is not, then probably turn off your video and now start.
Okay. So is it visible now? My sharing tray?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
I am at slide number 6. Can you see this slide, sir? Slide number 6?
Yes, ma'am. We can see.
Okay, thank you very much. And can you see this pen also, which I am going to mark, right? This red
No,
color.
not visible, ma'am. Not visible.
Okay, fine. Okay, I will take pointer only, so that at least pointer will be visible, right?
Yes, ma'am. Right click. You can use a right click, and then there is a, you can on a slide you can do a right click. Right click, ma'am. You can do a right click on, yes, and then you can use that pencil. There is a option on PowerPoint. Ma'am,
Okay,
can
I'm
you do a
using
right
this
click
cursor only.
on the slide?
Fine, sir. Okay. What I have to do?
Right click on the PPT.
Fine. Then?
Then probably you can have a third or fourth option as a pen or highlighter, something like that.
Highlighter. Oh, fine.
Yeah,
Is
that
it
you can use.
visible now?
Yes,
Is it
ma'am.
visible?
Yellow color is visible.
Yeah. Highlighter is visible, correct? Okay.
Yes, yellow color highlighter is visible. I think
Thank.
below that
Yes,
option
sir.
you have a pen highlighter. So with that you can actually use as a pen also. It is up to you, ma'am. Now go ahead, please, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. So pen highlighter options I'm not able to see. I'm using the same this only. So there are three options for this. First, you can use three symbols. One is this. This is for terminal, gate, drain, and this is the source, and this is substrate or the body. So this body is inside because it was it says that this is n type, and p type. P means pointing inside. Likewise, this can be represented as a three terminal device in this fashion. So here body is not there. It means we will understand that body is connected to the source. And likewise, this is the simplest symbol. And the corresponding PMOS symbols for this are these, where these two are using arrows in order to indicate the direction of the current flow, while this is the bubble. Bubble says that note, whatever the logical note is. Like PMOS is just inversion of NMOS, so that's why we will be using this bubble. And there are two type of MOSFETs. First one is the enhancement type, and next one is the depletion type. So the depletion type means you have your VDO is lesser than 0, means negative threshold voltage you have. So we will make use of a little bit wider range for this. We will say that this was already depleted. Okay, so this is the difference between two. Now let's come to the 7th slide. I hope it is visible to all. This is MOSFET IV characteristics. So IV characteristics for the MOSFET are similar to that of BJT, but the only difference is in case of BJT, what do you have? You have input characteristics and then output characteristics. But here you have, this is the transfer characteristics and this is the output characteristics. Transfer characteristics is similar to your diode. This is VGS, the gate to, and this is your drain to source current. And this particular voltage or this voltage now let us come to B diagram, which is the output characteristics. Output characteristics are plotted between the output voltage, which is VDS, and the output current, which is IDS, constant VGS, input voltage, because this is a voltage control. So that's why the controlling parameter over here is VGS. Okay. In this input transfer characteristics, your controlling parameter is VGS. So here, let us have a look. There are three particular regions. First one is the lowest one. This is the cutoff region. Cutoff means your device is off over here. So if it is working just like a switch, you can say that your switch is off. Okay. Then when you are increasing the VGS, it is going to increase. These curves are going to increase. So in this, there are again two reasons. First reason is the ohmic reason. Just left side of this, I hope it is visible, ohmic reason, and this follows the Ohm's law. V is equal to IR. This follows the Ohm's law. You can say, you can see that this is, if you just want to draw this line, it will come like Y is equal to mx plus c, which is the equation of line. So that's why we'll call this ohmic region or linear region. And this one, the saturation region. Saturation region means here the current saturates. It is no more going to increase. So this is the saturation region. So when you are using the MOSFET like a switch, what is going to happen? You are making use of either this region, which is the saturation region, or the cutoff region. But if you are working your device as amplifier, you might be working in this region. So now next one is the technology scaling trends. So there is one international roadmap for devices and systems known as IRDS. Yes, sir. Slide number 8.
Ma'am, I think
Yes,
slide number. Ma'am, you are the presenter, so ma'am, you can do it. I cannot do because you are the presenter only.
Yeah, I am at slide number 8. Is it visible?
No, ma'am, we are
Slide
at 6
number
number
8.
slide only. We are at 6 number slide.
Oh my God. Oh, it is going to happen. Sir, I think you can be the presenter because I'm not able to change the slides. I'm changing continuously, but it is not visible on your screen and others. So actually, it will be difficult then.
Okay, ma'am. Let me.
Please, you become the presenter so that I can just. I will tell you the slide number and then we'll proceed.
Which number?
8 number, sir. Slide number 8.
8 number. Technology scaling
Yes.
trend and IRDS. Okay, ma'am. Go ahead.
Correct. Yes, sir. So in this, there is actually we have done this. Slide number 7. This is yes, I'm here. Technology scaling trends, IRDS. IRDS stands for this is IRDS. My cursor is visible, sir. International Roadmap for Devices and Systems. Previously, it was ITRS, but 2-3 years back only it has been changed to IRDS. So there are different teams worldwide which are specifically working for some problem, and their contribution is given in this particular roadmap, which is for devices and systems. So how it started actually? Previously, you might have heard about Moore's law. So Moore's law is what? Moore told that transistor sizes will be just, or you can say transistor count will get just double in every 18 months or say 2 years. So this was the Moore's prediction about the technology scaling for the logic gates, because every processor is made up of logic gates. So it means every 18 months your transistors are going to become double in per centimeter square area. Then actually, as the technology trend was scaling more and more, density was covered in 1 centimeter square. So more Moore came into existence because Moore's law was a little bit problems were faced by that. Moore means the CMOS structure is there, whatever was applicable for MOSFET, those things are there, but either they will be using heterojunction materials or 3-5 materials or strained silicon in order to increase the mobility or other things. And the same law given by the Moore, that transistor sizes will get double every 18 months, that was continued. So then came more than Moore, because this more Moore was also going to fail. So then it came more than Moore, which means the beyond CMOS devices. Sir, next slide, please. Slide number 9. Amit, sir, next slide, please. Dr. Amit Joshi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We are at 9th slide.
Okay. So, according to this 9th slide, I hope it is visible to every one of you. This says that this diagram shows that how much technology scaling is required according to the performance and the efficiency parameters. On the x-axis, we are having the size. Size means this is the technology node only. Technology node means this is the gate or the channel length of the device. Roughly, you can say this. And here on the y-axis, you have the efficiency and the performance. So you can say more Moore trend. More Moore means the CMOS device was only there, but there were different things like the strained silicon or 3-5 materials or heterojunction materials like that were there. Okay, so with the help of this, we are going to come till some nanometers. I mean, some sub-deca nanometers we were able to come. But for big data computing, IoT, deep learning, which are nowadays, fascinating requirements. So here we need actually this one, this blue color. Blue color is beyond CMOS. Beyond CMOS means every unconventional device or the conventional device, but this is not exactly CMOS. That means this is beyond CMOS. Okay, so for estimation, I have given the MOSFET scalings in the right side of slide number 9. You can see the MOSFET scaling trends are showing that once you are, it was started 10 micrometer production in 1971, and then you can say this was just almost the gate size was almost half, right? Every 18 months, roughly, you can say. Then in 1999, it was 180 nanometer in commercial production. And let me tell you, nowadays in India, we are at 180 nanometer production only, which is there in SCL Chandigarh, especially. The fabrication is happening 180 nanometer. And then 2016 10 nanometer commercial production was there, and nowadays 5 nanometer in 2020 production is commercially available.
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
I think students are not able to view my slide also. Is it visible now?
For me, it was not visible. That's why I told you that it is not visible to me. And so just mail them the slides and they will open the slide at their own on their desktop. I will tell what slide number is this.
Okay, I think I have already mailed all of you.
So please, all of you open the slides at your own terminal so that I can tell you that this is the slide number.
Okay, I think all of you please do that. Check your mail. Okay.
Please open the slides in your terminal. I will tell you the slide number. Shall I start, sir, if they have opened?
Maybe, ma'am, 1 minute more so that probably they can open.
Okay.
They have to go to, ma'am, slide number 9.
Yes.
Ma'am, you will be talking about slide number 9 or 10?
9.
Okay. Please, all of you go to slide number 9.
Please go to slide number 9 so that we can continue.
Yes, ma'am, continue.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, you can continue, ma'am, now.
Okay, thank you, sir. So here it shows MOSFET scaling. MOSFET scaling was 10 micrometer in 1971, 180 nanometer in 1999, and it is 5 nanometer in 2020, and it is predicted 3 nanometers in 2022. So why these unconventional devices are needed? Let me clear it to you over here. For example, let us take the case of silicon. If we are going to take the case of silicon, the silicon interatomic is in terms of angstrom. So if we are talking about in fact 10 nanometers, it meters channel length. So actually your device control becomes too, with the help of silicon, it will be very, very difficult. So that's why the new devices which are coming in the picture, there are different kind of new devices which are given in the slide number 10. So let's come to the slide number 10. Please open slide number 10. So these are the immersing logic devices. I am talking about slide number 10, and this diagram I have taken from the IRDS roadmap only. So there are actually two categories structure wise, and whether this is based on the charge or non-charge. So you can see there are few conventional devices which are based on charge. For example, silicon FET was the conventional device. Then on the same structure, we have the nanowire FET, carbon nanotube, which is CNT FET, and then 2D channel FET. Then there is tunnel FET, fin FET. These are the things, okay? Or multi-gate FET, gate all-around FET. These are in this category, which is the conventional FET or the conventional plus the charge-based. Now come to the next one. Novel devices means new devices, but which are on the base working on the basis of charge only. So the first one is topological insulator, spin FET, NAMS, negative capacitance or NC FET, MOT FET, etc. MOT FET is generally used for memory. Spin FET also is useful for memory mainly. Now next quadrant is non-charge based devices but which are novel. So non-charge based novel devices are like this: domain wall logic, transistor laser, magnetoelectric, spin wave, excitonic, STMG. So these are the novel devices which are non-charge based. And these actually main problem is memory nowadays. If you can see, we need so much of memory in order to calculate n number of things. So let's come to the next slide now. Slide number 11. We are on slide number 11. MOSFET fails for further scaling. So why it is going to fail? First reason I told you, as we are targeting 3 nanometers for 2022, it means we are reaching to very limited region. Here the channel length 3 nanometers means very few atoms will be there in the channel. So it will be really, really very difficult to frictionate the doping or to induce the carriers in order to control the channel. So there will be, it means we will lose the control of gate. So directly whatever we are putting at the drain, that will directly control the source current. So this effect is known as the punch through effect. Means the punch through effect will be there. Next effect is this is a problem. Punch through is a problem. So next effect is the DIBL, drain induced barrier leveling. Another problem is ion by IO will decrease rapidly because as you are decreasing your device size, it means your VDD but the off current is not going to reduce because this depends on the confusion. So because of these reasons, you have ion by ion ratio, which is increasing very rapidly. Next one is the subthreshold swing, limited to 60 millivolt per decade. Always depends on the so room temperature you have 60 millivolt.
Ma'am, your audio is not, you are not audible. Minka ma'am? Uh, I think ma'am is not audible. Sorry, I think ma'am will be joining soon. She left. Please wait a while, ma'am will be joining. नहीं મમ્મી પાસે કે માંગ મમ્મીને કે લોલો બોલવું જોઈએ ma'am, are you there? Wait a minute, I will call ma'am. Probably we will wait for 2 more minutes, 2 to 5 minutes for madam. I think I am not able to contact her.
Can you hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, yes, ma'am. But I think you were offline for last 10 minutes.
Is I continuously speaking. I don't know. Probably call drop was there.
Okay. Ma'am, I
Let,
think we are at 11th number of slide, if I'm not wrong. After that, means you were not audible.
oh, fine. Sorry. Okay, fine. So this is slide number 11. MOSFET fails for further scaling. The reason being the punch through effect. Punch through means your gate will lose the control because you are making the gate, the channel length very short. So the gate control is lost. Another problem is dipole effect. Next problem is ion by I off. Since you are already reaching to 10 nanometers or less than that, it means the power supply is very less. So the ion current is expected to be very less. But the I off current, which was because of diffusion, it is not going to be lesser. It means that the ion by I off is decreased. Sub-threshold swing, which is limited to 60 millivolt per decade, it is also a big problem. Then leakage power and power density. These are particular problems with the MOSFET. So the next slide, please, slide number 12. So we are on slide number 12 now. Power consumption problem in CMOS. So here you can see in the diagram, this is gate length in microns, and on y-axis you are having the power density, which is watts per centimeter square. Okay, so there are two type of powers are given. One is the active power and another one is the sub-threshold power. Am I audible, sir? Say yes if it is.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Thank you. So active power, you can see from the right side, you have to see right side we are starting with 10 micron and we are reaching till 10 nanometers over here on the left side. So you can see this blue color is much higher as compared to this green color, which was the sub-threshold leakage power. But as you are reaching to 10 nanometers or lesser than that, you can see this sub-threshold leakage is much more than the active power for the CMOS. So this is the major problem, which says that you have to deal with the subthreshold leakage. That has to be your primary goal, but CMOS cannot handle it. So it means below 10 nanometers, we need non-conventional device or other devices than MOSFET, which can handle this power leakage problem, especially in the standby mode. Subthreshold means it is the standby mode, either logic 0 or logic 1. Okay, and active power means it is the dynamic power, means whenever your circuit is switching between 0 to 1, you can say. So let us come to the slide number 13. Sir, say yes if I am audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Other options for MOSFET replacement, we since because of these power problems and other issues which I have listed in slide number 11 and 12, we have to go for other options. So there are few options like tunnel FET is one of them, gate all around FAT, FinFET is other one. Likewise, silicon nanowire, carbon nanotube FAT, spin transistor, negative capacitance FAT, mode FAT, any NEMS FAT. So these are different kind of other options for the replacement of MOSFET device. But you know, you cannot completely replace for any device cannot be compatible for all the possible applications for the MOSFET which are currently there, like analog application, digital domain applications, memory applications and all. So what we have to do, we have to target for a particular application a set of devices we will be targeting. Okay, so that's why the technology transfer completely to replace MOSFET is not there till date. Okay, so the next slide, slide number 14. I am on slide number 14. I hope it is visible. Say yes if it is. It's audible. Slide number 14. It's audible. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Oh, Yeah, thank you. So why tunnel fat? So why we are going to choose tunnel fat? I have listed a set of problems which we are facing with MOSFET scaling and in fact with MOSFET. So few of the problems can be addressed easily by tunnel fat. That's why this tunnel fat can be preferred. First one is the sub-threshold swing is lesser than 60 millivolt per decade. It is not exactly this, but it can be much lesser than this, which means the sub-threshold leakage will be very less as compared to MOSFET. High ion by IO ratio can be achieved. The reason being IO for uh, tunnel fat is of the order of femtoamperes, which is very low. So the static leakage is very low. Static leakage power is very low. Likewise, the sub-threshold slope will never depend on the temperature, and not even the ion will depend on the temperature. So this is also the positive result. And reduced sort channel effects such as punch through. We will not have any kind of punch through in case of tunnel fat. New materials can give us the ion better as compared to the silicon channel based devices. So tunnel fat actually works on band to band tunneling principle. Means there is like in case of MOSFET it is working on drift and diffusion phenomena, but the tunnel fat there is band to band tunneling in order to make it on. So next slide, slide number 15. We are on slide number 15 now. Sir, audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, audible.
Sub 60 millivolt per decade sub-threshold slow switch to rescue. So just look at this figure. There is VGS and IDS. X-axis VGS and Y-axis it is IDS. There are two curves. One is the blue line curve which is for MOSFET and the red line curve is for tunnel fat. So you can see the difference. The slope for tunnel fat is much steeper as compared to the MOSFET. So it means this is better as compared to the MOSFET. It will give you better power performance statics as compared to MOSFET. So now 16th number slide, let's come to the structure, how the structure of tunnel fat is differing from the MOSFET. So there is no much difference. You can just replace your source N plus with the P plus region. That's it. In case of MOSFET, you have source and drain N plus N plus. But in case of tunnel fat, you have P plus I and N plus. PIN, that's why we will call this as PIN structure, while MOSFET will call as NIN structure. Okay, so there are pros and cons of each devices. CMOS is the classical device. So ION is within the targeted technology roadmap limits, but CMOS has power issues. Here tunnel fat is having extremely low off current and sub-threshold swing is below 60 millivolt per decade, but actually ION is low and much more R&D is needed for tunnel fat. Next slide, slide number 17. We are on slide number 17. How does tunnel fat works? So tunnel fat is basically PIN structure. It works on band-to-band tunneling principle. So what is band-to-band tunneling principle? I have drawn the energy band diagrams for a particular cut along the channel. So here you can see this y-axis is the energy, upper part is the conduction band energy, and the lower part is the EV is the valence band energy. In semiconductors, there are two bands, valence band and the conduction band. You might have already gone through. So in the first case, your VG is 0. If VG is 0, you can say there is no overlapping window between the conduction band of the source. With P and I, we are focusing. P region, which is the left side, and the I region is the middle one. So there is no common region in the diagram A in order to tunnel the electrons from the valence band of the P side to the conduction band of the I side. But in the next diagram, when VG, the gate voltage is 1.4 volt, just have a look at the P and I structure of B diagram, I mean bottom diagram on the same page, page number 18. So the electrons from the valence band can easily tunnel through the junction to the conduction band of the channel region, which is the I region. So here the electrons coming out from the valence band will leave behind the holes, and the electrons will come in the channel, which is the I region, and from here onwards the current can be conducted with the help of the drain voltage. Higher the drain voltage, higher the current will be. So likewise, this is how the current is going to flow in case of tunnel FAT. Now the next slide, please, slide number 19, a little bit more on how the current is going to increase. It has been shown with the help of various gate voltages. You can see the A diagram, first diagram. So vertical distance along the channel and the energy has been shown. So you can see as we are increasing the gate voltage, the steepness between this, here the source has been taken towards the right hand side and the I is the channel, which is the middle one. So you can see this I region channel is coming down, down and down. It means the source and I region, this is going to become much more steeper. It means much more number of electrons will keep going on to the channel and much more current will keep on flowing. But look at the another diagram where VGS is equal to 0. If VGS is 0, look at the source side and the channel side. There is no overlapping of the valence band of the P region and the conduction band of the I region. So since there is no overlapping, it means the electrons cannot tunnel through. So there will be no current in this case. And these are the IV characteristics. You can easily see slide number 20. I am on slide number 20. You can easily see the IV characteristics for NMOS and PMOS. The NMOS IV characteristics are having higher on current, but the subthreshold slope is not steeper. But in case of tunnel FAT, your subthreshold slope is steeper, but on current is much lesser as compared to the MOSFET. So actually much more R&D is required for tunnel FAT. We are on slide number 21 as of now. So slide number 21, is it audible, sir? Is it audible, sir? Slide number 21.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So here, in order to use any kind of device as a biosensor, what we have to do is we have to develop a cavity. For example, in case of tunnel FAT, we have to develop a cavity. Cavity means here the molecule, biomolecule, or whatever device, whatever thing to be tested will be filled in this cavity, which is visible in the left hand side, white color cavity. It is visible on your screen. So this cavity will be filled with the biomolecules, and what we know about everything is having different epsilon value, which is the permittivity. So as the permittivity is going to change, the gate control is going to change. So if the gate control is going to change, it means we are going to control the IV characteristics of that particular device. So this is the simple phenomena for a biosensor. So using this, we have done some simulations on slide number 22. Slide number 22, please. On this, there are different biomolecules with different permittivity or the relative permittivity constant. So if the permittivity constant is lesser, for example, we have taken lesser for cavity ID1, for ID3 it is greater, then for 7, 10, 12, like that. So you can see the increasing trend of the current because of capacitive coupling is becoming much more better as the epsilon is going to increase. So because of these reasons, this current is going to increase. This will keep going on increasing. Now let us come to slide number 23. So in the slide number 23, you can see there is one parameter called as sensitivity, because if a sensor is there, in order to find out its suitability. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. We are on slide number 23. So sensitivity is defined as the current with the biomolecules minus the current with air cavity, in the cavity there is air only. Air means the epsilon is equal to 1. Relative permittivity constant will be 1 only, divided by the ID air. So with the help of this, we will find out what is the sensitivity. So you can have a look at this diagram at 23rd slide. The gate voltage versus sensitivity. You can see the sensitivity is very high. It is going from 0 to 10 raised to power 10. So it means you can sense the biomolecule very easily. And for different things, there is different curve, and there is visible difference between the curves, because this scale is 10 raised to power 0 to 10 raised to power 10. So visible differences there. So if you are going to sense something, so you will have a particular gate voltage. So at any particular gate voltage, there are no common 2 points, not a common point for any two graphs. It means that for a particular biomolecule, it will give you a particular sensitivity. And this is how you will say that this was the molecule which was given for the testing. So this is how you will be testing with the help of tunnel fat. So it can be used for a biosensor or any other liquid sensor, chemical sensor, even gas sensor, etc., etc. So this was all about my presentation. I have made use of these references which are given on slide number 24. These are few references listed, but not all. So thank you for your patience, and sorry for technical problems we have faced. And slide number 26, I am on slide number 26. Thank you for your patience. Your queries are invited now.
Okay, all those who have a query, please raise your hand. So probably I can make you a presenter so you can ask if you have any query. It seems that there is no query. So ma'am, I have a small query, ma'am.
Yes.
Regarding the tunnel FET, what could be the fabrication challenges that we need to overcome?
Correct. Somebody else is also asked something. If we can hear. So somebody
I
else
think Shruti Sharma is there.
Okay. Fine, sir. I'm going to tell first answer for the fabrication challenges. Actually, in MOSFET, if you look at MOSFET structure, this is NIN structure. So in fabrication, what exactly happens is you will be having one type of semiconductor, and then you will be doing the doping, and it will be like, for example, if we are talking about MOSFET, so let us say I have taken I type of means simple lightly talked PMOS. I have P-type semiconductor I have taken. So in this, I will externally dope N plus regions. Or what I will do, I will take N plus region, and then somehow I will make the in between region I. But in case of tunnel fat, the major problem is PIN, means all three type of semiconductor materials are there. So the integration problem is the biggest one, because once you are, even if you are taking I type of material, then first you will be doping N plus, and another time you will be doping P plus region. Both of these you cannot do simultaneously, so the masking problem will be there. So this is the biggest problem. So this problem is faced by the fabrication people, and that's why the fabrication for most for tunnel fat is not so easy. It has to be taken proper precautions. Another problem is the source and channel region has to be very sharp, because here the band to band tunneling is going to happen, And if in case of MOSFET, it was the gradient channel profile which we used to do, and that was easy to achieve by any doping technique. Okay. So here this will be very difficult to get very sharp source channel edge profiles. So this is a biggest issue, another biggest issue. So sir, am I able to address your query?
Okay.
Dr. Amit?
Yes, ma'am. I think there is one more question from Jyoti Sharma, ma'am. She want to ask that FinFET and TNFET, what is the better for an analog circuit design? FinFET and TFET.
Okay, fine. So, Jyoti Sharma, actually, FinFET is, you can say MOSFET only, but here it has multiple gates. So the gate control becomes much more. As I told you, as we are shrinking to the device dimensions, if this was the planar MOSFET, planar means the gate is on the top side only. Bottom side you are having substrate or other things, but in case of FinFET you have a trapezoidal kind of channel and the gate control is from all three sides, so you will be getting better gate control even at smaller dimensions. So whatever device scaling is happening at sub nanometers, sub deca nanometers, that is actually FinFET. This is one thing. Another thing you are asking, tunnel fat. So the tunnel fat is, the structure is different, but you can make use of the FinFET structure for tunnel fat also. Fin is a structure, means the gate control only, nothing more than that. So you can make use of fin structure for tunnel fat also. Then it will, you can say, multi tunnel fat. It comes analog circuit design. So in analog circuit, actually MOSFET will play better role because its swing is very good. I mean, subthreshold swing, if you see, it is really very, so it will be playing a good role. Am I able to address her query, Jyoti?
Yes, ma'am. I think there is one more question, probably final one, from Girdhar Gopal. Is there any solution to reduce the standby power consumption in FET device?
Okay. So in FET device, actually your off current is the major issue. The off current actually is restricted by the diffusion, because in the MOSFET you are having NIN structure. Because of this structure, the diffusion takes, and because there is some off current which was equivalent to diode off current, you cannot go beyond, and that restriction is actually very limiting at power level.
Yes, ये इसका उल्टा फाइल फाइल साफ कर दिया.
So am I able to address the query, Girdhar Gopal? Girdhar Gopal, am I able to address the query?
Ma'am, probably we can hear only. Girdhar, if you have any further query, then you can write down in the chat box.
Okay.
Girdhar is, I think it seems to be not satisfied. No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So in the fat devices, as I told you, the structure is same. You can take tunnel fat, it will reduces drastically. But the MOSFET, it is difficult because that is already limited by your diffusion statics, which is the, and you cannot reduce the doping concentration. Otherwise, the device on current will deteriorate. So you have to go for other devices than MOSFET in order to reduce the standby power. Okay, and the power is a function of voltage. So anyway, you cannot decrease the voltage at certain limit, beyond certain limit. So basically, you have to go for another devices. Yes. Anybody else, sir?
I think there is not much. I think now there is no further query, ma'am. So thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful presentation. I hope that all the participants would be benefited with that. So thank you all of you also for the joining. So that's all from our second lecture. So hope to see you next Saturday for a third lecture. Thank you all of you for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.